Hey everybody, what's going on? It's Caden Cleveland here with the Oklahoma Senate. You're joining us for another episode of OK Senate on Deck with our pro tem in the Senate, Senator Greg Treat. We're going to be talking a lot of different things today, but really the main focus of today's video podcast is Senate Bill 1, LOFT, which is the Legislative Office of Fiscal Transparency.
Absolutely, yes.
Is that right? Okay,
yeah.
Awesome. It's something that has been proposed in the first Senate bill of this upcoming legislative session, and we're going to dive in and actually explain everything, look at all the questions to it, and we'll be right back. Hey everybody, welcome back. As I said before, we're joined with Senator Greg Treat, and the main topic of discussion today is LOFT, or Legislative Oversight
Legislative Office
of Fiscal Transparency. That's it. Okay, gotcha. Which is Senate Bill 1 that's been proposed so far moving into session. Tell us a little bit about what LOFT is, Senator Treat. As we kind of move into session, this is going to be, a kind of a big issue moving forward, right?
It should be a big issue. It's been a big issue for the last 20 or 30 years. The legislature's talked about trying to get better at the way we budget. This is one step toward getting better with people's money, having more transparency on it, but also be able to hold agencies accountable and seeing if the programs that we've created either in the past or moving forward are actually successful.
Gotcha. So it's going to be a new office that will be specifically focused on budgetary issues. Is that correct?
It is. It also looks at programs, so the program evaluation and budget. So you've got numbers coming in so we can verify the numbers when we're actually writing the budget. It'd be nice to have the real numbers. That's part of something that Speaker McCall and I've been talking about over the interim and last session. Speaker McCall had a bill last session to do something very similar to this. So it's not a brand new idea with me. But I wanted to make sure it was the very first bill out of the gate on the Senate side to show we are serious about doing budgeting in a new way.
Gotcha. So one thing that I've heard about LOFT is that it will, one thing that you've repeatedly said is they're going to help the legislature have better and more sound, filtered information to go off of.
Yeah, I've walked into budget negotiations over the last 6 years where the House and the Senate have different numbers, the agencies bring us different numbers, and we spend the first 30 minutes to an hour just arguing over whose numbers are more accurate. It'd be nice to have an objective set of criteria to look at these so we can come in on the same page and then make decisions based on our philosophy, based on the needs of the state, and try to maximize the use of taxpayer dollars. Right now, we're completely beholden to agencies telling us what their numbers are, and or a lobbying group, and neither one of them are nefarious, but they've got a perspective, and I need to make sure that we're looking at it with eyes wide open.
That's a very good point. And now, this is something that you had an interim study about, and it seemed like there's a ton of other states that are already doing that.
Oh, yeah, 35 plus, I believe, 37, something like that.
Gotcha.
We got New Mexico in here, we got Indiana, we got Mississippi. We've looked at other states, but those 3 states specifically came to testify. And we can do it better, and we will do it better. This office would be a minimum number of people, 6 to 8 people, but people who know budgets, know how to look at budgets, know the right questions to ask, but also people who are here year-round to be able to continue to look at that budget, continue to improve the process. So when we come in session between February and May, we have an informed decision we're making. Okay.
So you mentioned that it's going to be an office of 6 to 8 people, somewhere around there. So the immediate question is here, growing government.
Yeah.
Is this something that you've been approached with before, or what's your response to that? Is it something that's going to grow government?
That's the knee-jerk reaction. That's what people say sometimes, and it's a valid point.
Okay.
You're looking at 6 to 8 people. You look at a salary range, it's got to be a fairly attractive salary to get the type of education we're looking for. But they can save hundreds of millions of dollars, and or they can maximize and reprioritize those dollars to make sure we get it into the classroom, get it to roads and bridges, get it to retirement system. So we're not just shooting in the dark. So I think it's a very minimal investment to have a maximum return.
And use the keyword there, investment. And that's something that in your interim study, when we had all these different states come in and talk about their setups and what they have going on, that's the same wording that they used, was the word investments, because it's paid off and they've been able to see savings. They've been able to see efficiency increases. So is that essentially what you're expecting?
Absolutely. When you ask the legislature, when the Constitution vests the authority of setting the actual budget to the legislature, we also need to have the tools at our disposal to be able to make the best decision for Oklahomans. And it is an investment, a very minimal investment to have huge dividends in the future.
Gotcha. So this is Senate Bill 1. It's been proposed. And what that means is here in the Senate, we have our request deadlines, and then we also have our language deadline. So is this something that the language is already submitted to, or can people look at this at home and see what it's all about?
You can go on oksenate.gov and you can pull up the bill. Just look under legislation, Senate Bill 1, SB 1. You put in the search bar and you can come up with the entire language is there now.
Gotcha. So if you're curious about what this LOFT, the Legislative Office of Fiscal Transparency, will look like a little more in depth than we can cover here in this video podcast, a very good place to start would be just going to our Senate website and actually looking up and reading the language yourself. That's something that I think a lot of people miss out on that really helps you understand what's going on here a lot better.
And we can't do this in isolation, so I can't underscore enough that I've been working with Speaker McCall over the interim, Leader Eccles. We're all on the same page as far as the necessity of this. We'll work out some of the particulars as the bill moves through the process. But the need for it is agreed upon, and we're working extremely hard and working closely together to try to come up with a solution.
Right. And I think this has been something that's, like you said, the last 20 or 30 years has been really recognized as something that could be very useful for the state. And then as we move into this next session here, it's really exciting to see something actually starting to develop, because it is something that would definitely increase the information, the efficiency of state agencies, of just the way our state works and operates.
And it would dovetail nicely with what we're doing on audits already at the Legislative Service Bureau. So we already have the APAC, which is doing auditing of the agencies. We also need to have real numbers as we're making budgets. So those two make us much more responsible as we're budgeting.
Gotcha. Okay. So beyond that, that's pretty much the basics of what LOFT is. Is there anything else you wanted to include on that to really communicate to everybody at home as to what this will look like? Anything else you wanted to focus on moving into session?
Other things that we're focusing on, we had the caucus retreat a couple weeks ago. I've been working very diligently on trying to get committee chairs and vice chairs named. Made an announcement on Friday. I'm excited about some new blood. Some people have already been there. But I think the Senate is in a very good position to make a huge difference this year. That's
awesome. So you just named all the committee chairs. It looks like an amazing group. I'm very excited about it. You guys can take a look at it. All of this information is on the OK Senate website. And you can view all of our videos here we actually have the ProTem media page. It's at protem.oksenate.gov. And on that page is all of our videos, all our articles. There's graphics on there that has great information about Oklahoma. Before we close out, is there anything else you wanted to add?
No, I hope people are getting to spend time with their family on this Christmas season. My kids are excited about Christmas, and it's I think on the airing of this, it'll be 23 days away, so we're counting down.
Let's go. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us again this week. We were able to cover a lot. I hope you're able to learn a little bit about what Senator Treat all has going on, especially with the focus of the Legislative Office of Fiscal Transparency, how really a beneficial thing it's going to be, and moving forward as we move into session. So I guess with that, we'll sign off, and we'll see you next week. Bye, guys.